There are different ways that you can access modules or their function directly. The way that we did it here was simply importing the module itself. So simply Python runs that module, it will initialize everything that needs to be initialized, and then you need to use the name of the module to access any function that you're looking for. So when you're importing a module using its namespace, then that namespace is available to you. Thus, if you plan to access any function, you need to fully identify those functions. Similar to this example, I'm saying from module 1, I want to get function, or from module 2, I want to get function. Or let's say you have like two different functions here in each one of them. So I have function 1 and I have function 2 in this module. So then I say function 1 from module 1, it knows that if I say from module 1 I want function 2, then it clearly knows what I'm looking for. I forgot to save it again, so make sure whenever you make a change you save it. And then you always run your main module, right? You don't need to run any of the other two modules that I have in this example. If you make changes, you make sure you save them, but you run your main module. This way of importing modules and their functionality is the safest way because there is no possible way for name clash. And I'm going to talk about name clash in a second and explain what that means. So you can import one module at a time, or you can import a couple of modules in the same line. So I can say module 2, so import module 1 and module 2, and it does the exact same thing. So you don't need to have separate lines for importing different modules. Okay, so this is method 1 of importing. So method 1, and that is the safest way. All right. The next method is where you can import specific function from a module. So you can say import, for instance, function 1 from module 1. So you're saying I want this function only to be imported here. So if you do that, if let's say I'm taking this part out, so I'm not importing module 1 anymore. I'm saying from module 1 import function 1, all right? So if I do that, then mod namespace module 1 is not recognized here anymore because I am not importing module 1 anymore. I'm only importing function 1 from that module into this program. Okay, so now if I run it, I'm going to get an error message. It says, oh, different error message. Oh, sorry. From module 1, import function 1, all right, or func1, all right. So you're saying from what module, what you want to import from that module, okay? And in this example, I'm importing function 1 only, right? Again, I'm not importing module 1, so then this is not acceptable. It won't recognize this line. So if I run it, it's going to give me error because module 1 is not defined anymore. So to resolve that issue, first of all, I'm not importing function 2 for now. I'm just importing function 1. To resolve that issue, you need to take this module 1 out because you're directly importing function 1. So it should work fine because that function is now recognized here, all right, because you're importing it. So this is the second method of importing, and it is not very safe, okay? And I'm going to show you an example of why it is not safe. So let's say you have function 1 in two different modules, all right? So you have function 1 in module 1 and function 1 in module 2. And let's say you're importing, I'm going to comment this line, and let's say you're importing those functions directly from the modules. All right, so I'm importing function 1 from both module 1 and from module 2, right? So if I do that, then I should not put the name module 1 on module 2, because if I do, let's try it. I'm going to get an error message because I'm not importing the modules anymore. I'm just importing a small piece of that module into my program, and that small piece is function 1. So now if I run it, I'm going to get an error message because it stops in this line. Module 1 is not defined. So you need to take that out. All right, so I'm going to take it out. Now let's see what happens. So here I'm getting the exact same message. It takes function 1 from module 2 only. All right, it is like this one does not exist anymore. The reason is this import happened after this one, so you overwrote this function 1. It is like you have that function here. When you're importing it, it is like it exists in this program and you have two different definitions for it, so the second one overriding the first one. Okay, and that is what happens here, and we call that name clash. So be careful if you have a same name, same function name inside different modules. You do not want to import them this way. Okay, importing the whole module might be much safer because the possibility of having name clash is 0. One way to resolve this issue when you have the exact same name is by changing the function name as soon as it gets into your program. Okay, so you can say, all right, from module 2 I want to import function 1, but as soon as it gets here I want to call it function. Okay, so as soon as it gets to your function, you're going to change its name to function. So now if I say function 1, it's going to be function 1 from module 1, and then if I say function, it's going to be function 1 from module 2, right? So let's run it, see what we get. So here you go. So function 1 from module 1, and then this is function 1 from module 2. Okay, so you can change a name of the function as soon as you import it into your program. So just a quick recap. In the first method, the safest one, you're importing the entire module to your program. And if you do that, to access each of the functions, you need to use that identifier, say module 2, and then what you're looking for in that module 2. There are other ways you can access different functions from different modules. One is saying from a specific module what you're trying to import. So you're simply importing that identifier or that function, that routine only into your program. When you're importing them into your program, you can change their name to something else. For instance, function, or here I'm using the short term for function. There is one last method that you can import different functions into your program, and that is, let's say, from module 1, I want to import all of the functions. All right, so I'm going to take this. So again, since I am not importing the module itself and I'm only importing the functions that exist inside module 1, I'm not allowed to use module 1 before the function's name. If I do that, again, I'm going to get an error message saying the module is not like defined. So, and the reason behind it is I'm importing the functions in this case using this method. So I do not need to put the module's identifier here or module namespace. So if I do that, I simply have access to all of the functions in this module. It is like these functions exist in this program. It's like they are there, you just don't see them. Okay, you're saying they are all part of this program.